Have you ever heard the story that Buddha and many ancient monks only ate one meal a day? To modern people, this sounds unbelievable. We live in a world where food is everywhere. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, milk tea, coffee, a small pastry during work, a late-night snack before bed. So, when people hear about eating only one meal a day, many immediately think, how can that be enough? But if you look deeper, you'll see that it's not just about eating less. It's a way of life related to mindfulness, moderation, circadian rhythm, and the relationship between humans and their bodies.
In MN 65, the Buddha said that he ate in one sitting.
And by doing so, he experienced fewer bodily troubles, lightness, strength, and a comfortable way of living.
But this does not mean that modern people should immediately start eating one meal a day.
The life of monks in the Buddha's time was very different from our life today. They lived simply, went on alms rounds, and spent much of their time in meditation, learning the Dhamma, and observing body and mind. Eating one meal was not about getting a better-looking body, losing weight quickly, or following a health trend. It was part of a training life, helping reduce dependence on food cravings and leaving more energy for awareness.
What is interesting is that modern science is beginning to help us understand
what may happen inside the body when the time between meals becomes longer.
After a meal, during the first few hours, the body enters a fed state.
Food is digested, carbohydrates are turned into glucose, and insulin rises to help move glucose into the cells. When insulin is high, the body mainly uses and stores energy from the meal. Some of that energy is stored in the liver and muscles as glycogen.
At this stage, the body does not need to use much stored fat, because fuel from the meal is still available.
After several hours, as blood sugar becomes more stable and insulin begins to fall, the body enters another stage. The liver can break down stored glycogen to help keep blood sugar stable. This is also when many people may feel hungry, restless, or more irritable. Part of this feeling is related to ghrelin, a hormone that often rises when the body expects food. But hunger does not always keep increasing forever. For many people, if they move through that period, the hunger can soften because the body begins to become more flexible in using stored energy. As the fasting period becomes longer, insulin continues to drop, and the body begins to mobilize more fat for energy. Fatty acids are released from fat tissue, and the liver can turn some of them into ketones. Ketones are an alternative fuel source, especially important for the brain when glucose from food is no longer constantly entering the bloodstream.
This may be one reason why some people feel mentally clearer, lighter, and less sleepy
when they are not eating many times throughout the day. However, this feeling is not the same for everyone. Beginners may feel tired, have headaches, or feel uncomfortable, especially if they switch too quickly from many meals to one meal.
The science of early time-restricted feeding is also worth paying attention to. In one study of men with prediabetes, participants ate within a 6-hour window and finished eating before 3 p.m.
Some markers, such as insulin sensitivity, blood pressure, oxidative stress, and appetite, improved even when they did not lose weight. This does not prove that eating one meal a day is good for everyone, but it suggests that meal timing may matter more than we once thought. When the Buddha and many monks avoided eating in the afternoon and evening, the body had a long period of rest from digestion. During that time, energy was no longer being constantly pulled into processing food. For a practitioner, a lighter body may support alertness during sitting meditation, walking meditation, or observing the mind. Anyone who has eaten too much at lunch or eaten late at night before sleep understands this feeling.
The stomach feels heavy. The mind becomes slow. The body does not want to move. Awareness becomes dull.
In contrast, when we eat enough but not too much, and avoid eating too late, many people feel lighter, more focused, and able to sleep more easily. One point often mentioned when people talk about fasting is autophagy, the body's cellular cleanup process. This is a process in which cells break down and recycle some damaged components, almost like an internal cleaning and repair system.
Biologically, fasting may be connected with signals that support cellular repair.
But in humans, we cannot say with complete certainty that after exactly 16 or 18 hours, autophagy suddenly turns on like a switch. A more accurate way to say it is this: when the body is not constantly receiving energy from food, some metabolic and cellular repair pathways may be supported. This is a fascinating area, but it still needs more human research. Another change involves growth hormone. Some studies show that fasting can increase growth hormone, which may be related to preserving muscle tissue and mobilizing energy from fat. But this does not mean that fasting automatically builds muscle or turns the body into a fat-burning machine. Muscles still need enough protein, proper movement, and rest. If someone eats only one meal but does not get enough protein, lacks micronutrients, eats too little energy, or places the body under too much stress, the potential benefit can turn into a risk.
The most important point in the Buddha's way of eating is not only one meal.
The deeper point is eating with mindfulness of the Buddha, not for entertainment, indulgence, beauty, or decorating the body.
Food was to nourish the body, maintain health, and support the path of practice.
From a modern perspective, this is a major shift in eating psychology. Many people today do not eat because they are truly hungry. They eat because they are stressed. They eat because they are sad. They eat because they are tired. They eat because a screen in front of them makes their hand reach for something.
When eating becomes automatic, the body can easily become overloaded.
From a scientific point of view, eating fewer times during the day may also help reduce the number of insulin spikes after meals.
Every time we eat, especially when we eat refined carbohydrates or sweets,
the body must release insulin to move glucose into the cells. If we eat continuously throughout the day, the body has fewer metabolic breaks. However, this does not mean that more fasting is always better. The body still needs enough energy, protein, healthy fats, vitamins, minerals, and fiber. One meal, if practiced, must be a high-quality meal. Good protein, green vegetables, healthy fats, minerals, and real food. If after many hours of fasting, you break the fast with soda, cakes, fried food, and ultra-processed meals, blood sugar and insulin may rise sharply, making the body feel worse instead of better.
This point must be clear. Eating one meal a day is not suitable for everyone.
People with diabetes who take medication, pregnant or breastfeeding women, people with a history of eating disorders, people who are underweight, and heavy laborers, athletes, frail older adults, and people with insomnia, severe stress, thyroid issues, or hypertension should not try this alone. Fasting is a form of physiological stress. For the right body, it may be a tool. For a body that is already overloaded, it may become another burden. Recent research reviews also suggest that the benefits of time-restricted eating may be related to both lower energy intake and circadian rhythm.
But it should not be seen as a miracle solution for everyone.
So what can an ordinary person learn from the Buddha's way of eating? Perhaps the lesson is not that everyone must eat exactly one meal a day. A more practical lesson is this: eat more simply, eat more slowly, eat more consciously, avoid late-night eating, and give the body time to rest between meals.
You can begin by finishing dinner earlier, or by reducing snacks after dinner.
Or before each meal, pause for a few seconds and ask yourself, am I truly hungry or am I just stressed? One small question like that can change the way you treat your body. The miracle is not in forcing yourself to become a monk. The miracle is in regaining freedom from constant food cravings. When food no longer pulls you around all day, you may begin to feel lighter in the body, clearer in the mind, and more conscious in your choices. Perhaps that is why the Budol's way of eating still makes modern people reflect after more than 2,000 years. It is not because it is a weight loss formula, but because it reminds us that health comes from more than just food.
It is also found in restraint, timing, mindfulness, and the ability to listen to the body.
This video is for educational and informational purposes only, not medical advice.
If you found this content helpful, subscribe to Healthy Dad Habits for more simple, science-informed, and natural perspectives on everyday health.